Oftentimes in the wellness space, you hear people talk about alignment, getting into alignment and being in alignment. And it's something that gets said a lot, but it's not always fully understood. Because a lot of times, alignment gets treated like something you build. But for me, alignment isn't something that you build. It's something that you uncover. It's a return back to who you already are. And misalignment doesn't always look the same either. Sometimes it feels like you're in a constant hangman position, and other times it can feel like everything is pushing back. But either way, it usually comes back to the same thing, which is disconnection. Not from the world, but from yourself. Earlier this year, I wrote about what I call the Inbetween season. I posted it on my TikTok. I believe it was in February. And for me, that was and still is a very real transition in my life. That was me stepping deeper into my purpose, into my spiritual path within Ifa, into becoming a wife, and stepping into my role as a transformation coach, all at the same time. And as I became initiated into Ifa, you learn that there are things consciously and subconsciously that you can be participating in that create roadblocks in your life. Things that hinder your progress. You have a mixture of life's opposition, and then there's the opposition that you create by your own hand. Things that can cause stagnation, and in some cases, cause a spiritual death. And the plot twist is that there are things that may not necessarily be bad, but they may not be good for you specifically. For example, you have some people that can stay out all night, still wake up the next day, handle all their responsibilities, perform well, and be completely unaffected. But then there's other people who do the same thing and slowly start falling behind, underperforming, neglecting their responsibilities, and eventually facing collapse. So sometimes the issue isn't necessarily the action in itself. It's that what works for one person may not work for the other. And that is why comparison is a dangerous thing. And that is also why understanding your Ori, your personal blueprint, is so important. Because there are certain things that may be completely fine for one person, but disruptive for another. And what throws one person out of alignment may not affect the next person at all. And this is where learning your spiritual taboos come in, not as punishment, but as guidance. As understanding what supports your path and what interferes with it. So alignment isn't just about knowing your path. It's about knowing what supports it and what disrupts it. And when you combine your blueprint with your taboos, what to do and what not to do, what works and what does not work, that's when you move in alignment, when you step into that flow state. And by the way, these things are not general at all. They are specific to each person. That's why it is imperative to know your own blueprint and honor your own path, your Ori, your inner guidance, the gatekeeper of your destiny. And I talk more about that on my website, but it really does tie into alignment and wellness. It's almost like we all have different allergies, but spiritually. And true alignment comes from understanding those things. So that's why alignment, in my opinion, is not about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who you've always been with a deeper understanding. And when you understand your soul's blueprint, your Ori, you start realizing that there is a difference between who you truly are and who you think you need to be. Because a lot of people spend their lives trying to force themselves into identities, lifestyles, and versions of success that don't actually align with them. And over time, that creates disconnection. Not because that person is broken, but because they're constantly moving against themselves, trying to become something that looks good externally, but doesn't feel natural internally. And I think that that's where a lot of people get stuck. When you're constantly identity shifting, it can only take you so far. And at some point, it becomes more about performance than actually living and being happy and fulfilled. You start taking bits and pieces from everywhere, different people, different mindsets, and none of it's really yours. So you end up like Frankenstein, a mix of everything, but not fully yourself. So if you feel lost, please release the pressure of trying to become someone new. Just return to who you truly are. And that is where true alignment begins.